Hello everybody, welcome to Fundamentals of Written Speech Presentation 2, and today we're going to take a look at the second handout I uploaded for you guys. We'll summarize that a bit, at least the first part of this handout. So the handout was from paragraph to essay, so we'll take a look at that. So basically, some of the key points that they introduced to us in the very beginning of the handout. So an essay is a piece of writing several paragraphs long. It's about one topic, just as a paragraph is. And this is important to understand that an essay is basically a very long paragraph. We already talked about paragraphs a lot before, and you guys understand how to write a paragraph. An essay is just a paragraph's big brother, at least in its essence. And right, as they say here, also the topics are long and too complex to be discussed in one paragraph. Therefore, we need multiple paragraphs and each paragraph discussing a major point. And so yeah, also we need to combine all of the paragraphs with introduction and conclusion. So an essay, as you all already know, has basically a bit more parts than a paragraph. However, those parts have also similar functions as the parts of a paragraph. So basically, essay structure here, three main parts. We have introduction, body, and conclusion. So, and also there's a brief summary of things that we need to do in each part. So today we will mainly focus on the introduction, and body and conclusion. I'll make another video about it because it's otherwise it'll be too long. So, but you still all you have everything in the handout, so you can read it, and so this explanation will just to make it a bit easier to comprehend. So basically, introduction consists of two main parts: general statements and thesis statement. So a thesis statement is something we'll focus on today, but basically it's like the topic sentence of a paragraph. It explains what is the main idea and why, and what is the essay going to be about. And general statements are statements that help us get to the thesis statements. We'll take a look at how it works a bit later. Body paragraph with topic sentences and supports. So yes, basically body is the part that has all the paragraphs, and each paragraph in the body follows the same rules that we already talked about when we discussed single paragraphs. Conclusion is like a concluding sentence of a paragraph, restatement or summary of main ideas, final comments, everything. All of this is in the conclusion. Let's take a look at introduction at all three parts in a bit more detail. So introduction, first of all, basically, as I said already, right? General statements to attract your reader's attention, and thesis statement to state the main idea of the essay. So we will take a look at the way how we can do this a bit later, but we can pretty much see, right, and understand what's going on in the introduction. So the topic is again very big. We start in general terms, and we slowly get to our main problem, the main problem stated in the thesis statement. Okay, so briefly about the body. Thesis statement. So yeah, thesis statement is like a topic sentence for a paragraph. I already said that before, right? It names the specific topic and gives the reader a general idea of the contents of the essay. So as the topic sentence does in a paragraph, thesis statement does the same thing in an introduction of an essay. It directs us, shows us where are we going and what the readers are going to find out once they read the full piece. Prepares us basically for that. Body. So right, again, consists of more paragraphs, one or more paragraphs, depending on how many subdivisions we have. We'll see in some of the examples later what a subdivision is. But yeah, basically imagine in order to prove something, you need to talk about three different things, and each thing is like divided into a separate paragraph. And this is what it is. So every paragraph has its own topic, but all in all of these topics need each other for you to prove the thesis statement stated earlier. Okay, and concluding, right, so it's like a concluding sentence of a paragraph, summary, review, main points discussed in the body. So we're going to talk about conclusions and body in another video. Here we'll mostly focus on the introduction. Some information about general statements. So general statements introduce the general topic of the essay and capture the reader's interest. So, right, it's up to the writer to be how creative the writer is and what the writer can do here. And some information about the thesis statement. So, thesis statement states the specific topic, might also list subtopics and some subdivisions of the topic, may indicate the pattern of organization. We're going to look at examples of these two later, a bit later. Is normally the last sentence in the introductory paragraph. It's possible, right? It can be somewhere else. However, in the one of the structures of introduction that we're going to look at right now, it's normally the last sentence. And take a look at this. So in the handout, they gave us a couple of ways how we can structure our introduction. And so yeah, funnel introduction or inverted pyramid introduction is one of the basic ways. So basically this diagram shows how it works, right? We start general and we go to our more specific idea. So imagine if you're writing about smartphones, for instance, and you want to discuss the impact of smartphones on behavior of people behavior. So you would start something in general, right? You would start smartphones are everywhere these days. You see them. Everybody has a smartphone. We use them every day. We don't even think about it. It's like second nature to have a smartphone and so on, right? So this would be like general statements about the topic, general statements about smartphones, for example. And then you slowly get to your more specific. So remember the same with the like controlling idea, right? We have a big topic and but we narrow it down to one specific direction. Introduction is like an expanded version of the same principle. So you start big, general, and you get more specific, right? So we can some information here, right? The introduction is oh yeah, it's shaped yeah, basically it's shaped like a funnel or a triangle, doesn't matter. So yeah, it begins with the general statements, and each statement, each next sentence focuses more and more on the problem, on the thing you want to discuss. So thesis statement is a specific thing, right? It's something you want to discuss and focus on within this essay. Here, I summarized from another resource some more ideas on how to organize an essay, an introduction. You can pause it, take a look at this. This is the extra information, but also in addition to the other introduction methods we had in the book, this is something you can also take a look at. Pretty interesting. Okay, so thesis statement, right? The most important sentence in the introduction states the specific topic of the essay. So where are we going and what do we want to prove in this essay stated in the thesis statement? So some examples of thesis statements. Native Americans have made many valuable contributions to modern US culture. So we can assume that this thesis statement, where does it start, right? What are the general statements for this? So probably they talked about the culture of the United States and the fact that Native Americans, so like maybe that these cultures that are very popular, traditions very popular in the United States, they would show their connection to the Native Americans. and then in that way get to this idea. Young people in my culture have less freedom than young people in the United States. So we can assume what are general statements for this thesis statement, right? They probably started by talking about freedom in general, freedom in a culture, and then getting slowly to to this comparative, to this thesis statement with this comparison, and so on. So these are the basic examples of thesis statements from the handout. Also, some more examples of thesis statements now with subtopics. So thesis statements can also include subtopics, basically the topics of the essay, sort of prepare the reader for what is coming. So here we have the same thesis statement, right? So Native Americans have made many valuable contributions to modern US culture, particularly in the areas of language, art, food, and government, right? So we can see 4 subtopics here. We already can assume and expect the author to speak about these separately. So we're going to assume that there will be a paragraph about language, a paragraph about art, food, and government. So each subtopic, again, right, presented here. It's optional. You can do this or you cannot do this. It doesn't matter. But we can see that sort of a brief summary of what is coming is given here. Also, in these examples here, thesis statements with organization patterns, right? Different thesis statements, not the ones before, but these thesis statements basically show how the essay is going to be organized. So is it a chronological essay? Is it a comparison and contrast essay? And so on. So when buying a used car, use 4 strategies to get the best price. So we can assume that this would be right, like a chronological, like a manual, what we need to do, like to-do list before we buy a new car. So we look at this, we look at that, to sort of go step by step in explaining as the method. And so on, right? There are several differences between a nurse practitioner and a physician's assistant. We can, understand that it's a comparison, right? So we'll see the essay will be structured in a way that they compare the two professions. Okay, so I don't want to make 40-minute videos, but so this will be it. So in this video we'll looked at introduction. We looked at some principles of essay writing and mainly focused on introduction. So basically, what do we need to remember? Some basic things, right? And so yeah, essay is a piece of writing several paragraphs long. Introduction basically is general statements plus a thesis statement, and you can think of it as you would think about topic sentence. So right, general statements to attract your reader's attention, and a thesis statement to state the main idea of the essay. These are the main functions of these 2 components of an introduction. Okay, so in the next video we will take a look at body and conclusion. However, you have everything in the handout, so I simply summarize the handout and give some of my examples. I hope that this helps and you find this useful. And yeah, stay safe, stay home, wash your hands. Talk to you soon. Bye.